Oh, good, you're here. Come on. This is the centre of performance. Whenever there's a top performance in New Zealand, it all comes from here. That's Lisa Carrington. She's been doing that for days. That's the boy who got the hole-in-one in Tokyo. Oh, he did it again. Hey, Finn, how's the performance going?
Top tier.
Nice. This is our Generate room. In here, you'll find our top performers helping Kiwis maximise their KiwiSaver investments. Get in here, Finn. Maximise.
Right,
Generate. Putting performance first.
Dr. Karlina Tongotea, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. We'll just get you closer.
Yeah, sure.
A bit closer to that microphone.
Close. Yeah.
So, I got an email from your mum.
My mamager.
Is she
No,
your mum?
not really. No.
So, I've got part of it here. I edited it, but it says, Kia ora Dom. I am the mum of two-time world powerlifter Dr. Karlina Tongotea, born and bred in South Auckland from a family of 5. Carlina started her powerlifting journey 6 years ago and stepped onto the world platform representing New Zealand in 2023. I hope you would see the benefit in having her on your podcast to inspire others to have it all and not to take one or the other, academia or sport. Ngā mihi for your time, Joe, proud mum.
Aww. Mum.
I think that's the first time I've had an email where someone's used the word academia as well.
Yeah. We're smart cookies.
But that email, when I got that, I thought that says a lot, because here you are, you're a grown woman yourself, you're a doctor, you've got this career and stuff going on, but your mum's still hovering around, like your biggest fan.
Yes.
Taking care of business.
Yes, mum and dad, the whole family actually are helicopters in my life and ever present. I'm so blessed that I can have their support because, it's very busy, the sort of two paths that I've chosen. And so to have their support and have their sneaky emails to amazing people like you, it's so great.
It was so cute. It was the cutest thing. So I got that email, then I looked you up, and I was like, "Oh, that's adorable." And I think it speaks volumes. Like the success that you've got in life now, that sort of self-belief was probably installed in you at a young age from the way you were parented, and that reflects now in emails that your mum's sending on your behalf. Yes. Even though you're how old? Are you in your 30s?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this is not the first sort of email or action of support and belief from mum. They have been this way for my whole life.
Oh my God. It's like equal parts like mortifying. You did what, mum? But also so cool.
So cool. I couldn't be, the first thought was like, oh, that's like slightly embarrassing, but also it's the Dom Harvey podcast. So thank you, mum. Like, absolutely, I want this opportunity.
Yeah, once I Googled you, I was like, oh, shit, absolutely. I'd love to have her on. She's amazing. So we're going to go through your whole story. But first of all, I feel like we might need some, almost like a glossary section to, because a lot of people won't know what you do. And so we'll sort of break it down a little bit. Yes. So you're the current world record holder for the squat. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you've got the World Games coming up in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
Yes. What are the World Games?
So I only just found out when I qualified last year, but the World Games is a multi-sport event and it's supported by the IOC, so it's kind of connected to the Olympic Committee. I guess you could think of it as the sports that are not really at the Commonwealth Games and all the countries that are not at the Commonwealth Games. So there's 60 different sports, and this is the first time that classic powerlifting will be in it. So it's a first for us. We're very excited, and we're kind of hoping that it is almost like a audition to get into the Olympics for our sport. Yes, because we've got some heavy hitters in New Zealand, not just myself.
Yeah, 'cause you're doing incredible stuff on the world stage, but most people probably wouldn't know who you are or what you're doing.
Yeah.
So powerlifting, what is it in simple terms?
Yes. So it's 3 lifts. It's the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. So at no point does the bar go over your head. That's Olympic weightlifting, what we see in the Olympics. So yeah, those 3 disciplines, and you basically just lift as heavy as you can. So because the bar doesn't go over our head, we can generally lift much heavier weights. So, my record squat is 231 kilos. So that's very proud of that and wanting to push it. But that's pretty much powerlifting. It's a very niche sport, but it's growing. It is growing. I guess like I've made it here, so hopefully more people get to know about it. But as with many sports, New Zealand, we are such a small country, but we really stamp our mark on certain sports, and we do the same in powerlifting. We're quite famous in powerlifting.
So, there's the 3 lifts for powerlifting. As you said, squat, bench, and deadlift.
Yes.
And they take your weight for all of them and they combine them.
Yes, and then you get a total total weight, and that is how you win at the end. Yes, I should have said that.
Yeah, so squat, I think most people probably know this, but just in case, on your back, down until your thighs are parallel with the floor.
Yes.
And then up again.
And then up again. And you get 3 tries of each, so you kind of work your way up through the competition. Bench press is laying flat and obviously bringing the bar down and then back up. And then deadlift is just picking the heavy thing off the ground. Yeah.
What are the rules with bench? Like, are you allowed to arch your back?
Yes, so you are allowed to arch. There's been recently some changes to try and make that less, because I think people don't really like to see the arch. But mostly it's listening to commands, so you do have to press it and wait for someone to tell you to press it up, so you can miss commands and things like that. So there are little rules and nuances for having to follow and keep it to standard.
And what are your personal bests in all those 3 lifts?
So my, I guess my gym personal best for a squat would be 238 kilos.
What do you weigh?
So I'm in the 76 kilo weight class. So when I'm training, I'm usually 78-ish kilos. But at competition, 231 kilos. And then my bench press is 132.5 kilos.
Wow.
And deadlift is 255 kilos.
Just think about that squat for a second. So it's basically 3 times your own body weight.
Yes.
Yeah. And the bench again. What's your personal best for the bench?
132.5 kilos, which is it's pretty good. There's a couple of girls who are crazy benches, and they're sort of in the 150s, and then there would be me. I would be right after them.
Because I think most people that are listening to this, probably men in particular, probably know what their best bench is.
Yes.
So it gives them something to compare to.
Yeah. Don't cry.
Do guys? Do you see some guys getting? I don't know, like ego damage in the gym, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, like recently I have, because we used to be in a private gym where it was just powerlifters, like just athletes. And so we've moved into a more commercial area, and I regularly see men's egos not doing well when not even just me, my training friends are also training. So I had it was the first time this had ever happened. I was deadlifting and it was 160 kilos. That's very light for me, and someone just came over out of the blue and tried to lift it. And I said to him before, I was like, mate, you shouldn't do that. You should probably like warm up before you try and lift something this heavy. And he almost he didn't break the floor. He almost passed out trying so hard. It was really awkward. But yes.
And is mansplaining a thing in the gym, or not so much anymore?
Yeah, not when you're in the safe zone of like a private athlete gym, but I think it still is a thing I'm experiencing at a semi-commercial gym, a bit of mansplaining going on.
Right.
But they've learned to stop.
Yeah, not to F with you.
Yeah.
And what is Sheffield? Like I've heard heaps of podcasts with you, and you talk about Sheffield a lot. What is Sheffield?
Yeah, Sheffield. It's a competition, almost like a showcase. It's happened for 3 years now, so it's quite new. But one of the biggest, the biggest sponsor in powerlifting, SBD, they manufacture all the gear that we wear. Held this Sheffield event, and it's in Sheffield in the UK, and they invite 24 of the best lifters in the world. So it's usually world champions versus world champions across weight classes, whereas, I'm in the under 76 weight class, so I would compete against my own weight class. At Sheffield, I'm competing against world champions from 47 up to 84 plus weight classes. So it's kind of like all the stars, all the best of the best. And the way you win is by beating your total world record by the highest percentage. So it's also fun to watch for people. So it's kind of the first event where people actually travel to, buy tickets for, and really enjoy watching these powerlifters. The first time I went, being so new into the international space, I was just fangirling nonstop because they're like powerlifting celebrities. And now I'm going for the 4th time next year.
When you go there, are you sort of like a rock star?
You feel like it. Yeah, you really do feel like it. You get treated, it's not a professional sport, but they do treat us like professional athletes. They fly us over, they have us in hotels, we're all eating together, and there's media and interviews, and afterwards there's meet and greets, and you're sort of like, what the heck? People want to meet me and get autographs, and it's an amazing experience.
When you say you all eat together, what are you eating? Broccoli and boiled chicken?
Yeah, look, some people are eating air, some people are on liquids because, it's a weight-cutting sport. So I'm one of the lucky ones that can keep eating actual food.
That's amazing. And you've got a partner, Harry. Now is he a UFC fighter?
He is not a UFC fighter, but that's his preferred training method.
Okay.
He is a tradie in welding, but we've grown up together and been together since we were 15. So he is a massive support, and especially with the last sort of 5 months of me training much more and working less, he's been a huge part of keeping level-headed and getting through it.
Yeah, you need a supportive partner because it's very time-consuming. I mean, you got this job, this very, very high-pressure job you're doing, and also this very time-consuming sport as well. Yeah.
And I do stop and think, oh my gosh, I'm lucky that this is just working out so well and that he is so supportive because, I do get home at sort of 8 at night and we just have a quick meal and go to bed because we've got to go to work tomorrow. But he comes along and he loves it and he just wants nothing but for me to keep going and to keep pushing things. So I'm very lucky.
Yeah, so your partner, your family, your job and your training, and I'm guessing there's not much time for anything else.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I might see a friend or two once or twice a year. And it's they understand, and when we do catch up, it's really nice, but there's not a lot of time for anything. It's just the cost of getting gold.
And medicine and powerlifting, do they compete or complement?
I think in a lot of ways they complement, especially in the type of medicine I'm doing. So I'm in general practice. I'm a contractor, so I can have a lot of control over what my schedule looks like. And I have an amazing job with managers who are so supportive and just want to see me go and sort of win these world titles and come back to work. Cool. So I'm really, really lucky. But I think they complement each other in the way that both of them can be extremely stressful, and you can reach burnout with either of them. But, when I'm at work and seeing my patients and sort of taking on whatever stories are coming at me that day. And then the next day I know I'm going to go and lift heavy weights for 4 hours and sort of offload, and that feels really good. So that works out at the moment okay for me.
And which one, there may not be a direct answer for this, but which one requires more discipline? Being a doctor or being an athlete?
Yeah. I think discipline, that word, being an athlete, a lot of discipline goes into it because I think when you get, especially after a few world championship events, their motivation is not always there all year round, and so all you can rely on is like routine and discipline and consistency. I'm not sure that I need to be that disciplined at work.
It's just Googling symptoms, isn't it?
Yes.
Googling symptoms and then prescribing Augmentum. Isn't that what?
Go ahead. You now have a medical degree. it requires other values and skill sets at work. But I think that's why it goes so well, because they're two completely different things. But at work, the other thing that sort of helps is, I get reminded of people's realities every time I'm at work. And so I think that crosses over at sport, where nothing is really that bad. I have experienced losses in sport, but I think just having been around some real actual grief and stress and hard times, it's sort of there's always next year.
Yeah, it's good perspective, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It brings you back down. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the intro done. I think that paints a good picture about who you are and what you do. So now we can go all the way back. So, who was young Carlina? What are some of your earliest memories?
Earliest memories, I guess growing up, my earliest memories are netball, a lot of netball. Family. My parents were my coaches, so they really have been super duper present in my life. Just growing up with siblings every Saturday at the netball courts. My parents were coaches. They ran the netball club, and so sport has just been a huge part in my life and has never left. It has changed, but it's not that it's saved me from anything, but I think in a prophylactic way, it helped me in so many ways to sort of get to where I am in other areas of my life.
Yeah, I mean, we started with this with the email from your mum, and it sounds like she's been that sort of helicopter presence through your whole life. You mentioned before, her coaching your netball team. I think I heard in another podcast you did, she was on the school board.
Yes.
She was at your school ball, just watching.
Yes.
You never had the chance to get into any trouble, did you?
No, I think that was the plan. They were just we're everywhere. Everywhere you turn around, you're like, okay, whoa. That's my mum. And she was like that for most of us. And I think, it just kept us out of trouble. We didn't have time to do anything else but sport and school. It was strict, it really was. But on reflection, it worked out in the end. And we had some, awesome experiences growing up. So I am one of 5, and so my sisters and my youngest brother, everything we've done with our parents, and they were pretty good at however they did it, because I always admired them, and I never felt walk over there, don't drop me off at school or whatever. I always wanted them around, and I was happy and proud to have them around. So even though they were helicopters, I enjoyed their teachings and their company, and yeah.
Did you get away with anything?
No.
What was the naughtiest? What was the naughtiest thing you did? You're just not a naughty kid at all?
No.
Who was the bad one of the siblings?
Yeah, the oldest. Always. That's why. So I was like, okay, so don't do that and don't do that and don't do this. So she taught me a lot of what not to do. So she went through it all so that the rest of us were not brave enough to push those boundaries. But yeah, I remember in high school, I had this one goal of I'm going to skip one day of school. I'm going to. Before I finish school, I'm gonna wag. But I never did. I did not achieve that goal.
Well, it served you well. Yeah, so you're half Māori, half Tongan. Mm-hmm. So your mum's Māori?
Yes, and Dad's Tongan. Yes.
Yeah. What does that heritage piece mean to you?
Yeah, it is extremely important to me, and especially knowing that I get to put us on a platform for the rest of the world and show them a little bit of our culture. I think growing up, my parents, mum was from Kaikohe and she moved to Auckland in around 18, and dad born and raised in Tonga and moved to New Zealand when he was 17. And so they moved away from their roots and they built their own family within Auckland. So I didn't have a lot of blood relatives in the area, but we had this makeshift family of a whole bunch of diverse people. And so I think in that way, me and my siblings always feel that we have more connections to be made to our culture. But at the same time, I know where I'm from. I know where I get all my gifts from, and I'm so happy to put it on a world stage and let people know about it.
How did they get it so right? I'm just thinking of like some previous podcast guests I've had. Like I don't know if you know Matt Brown. He started this foundation called Share's Not Your Rehab, which is phenomenal. So his parents, they're Samoan. They came to New Zealand from Samoa for a better life. His dad ended up with a factory job, and their outgoings were more than the ingoings each week. And his dad developed an alcohol problem, and it just wasn't a great outcome for the kids.
Yeah.
But I suppose everyone that comes from the islands to New Zealand comes because they want a better life or better opportunity for the kids that they have or they're going to have.
Yeah.
And it seems like for your family, it's worked.
Yeah.
They've nailed it.
Yes,
Aced it.
I think so. I think it was just this like great combination of two people who had this picture of what they wanted more for themselves, and they're so determined, and I've watched them work so hard. You know, I remember as a really, really young kid, Dad, when I was born, was like working at, I think, BP or Caltex or something, and Mum was working at a bar, and then we've watched them go through banking and become managers, and we've watched what hard work looks like, and they wanted us to kind of skip those steps and like go to uni and get there as quick as possible. So there was a lot of pressure to, you know, to be a doctor.
Did you want to be a doctor, or were you sort of told you have to be like a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant?
I think it was both. It was a bit of both. Like I've always been interested in health and sport and fitness, but yes, it was like doctor. So, but I love my job.
So you never had that self-doubt, that thing, I'd like to be a doctor, but maybe I'm not smart enough, maybe I'm not good enough, whatever story you tell yourself.
Yeah. I think, no. And
that's
again,
so powerful. That's got to come from the parenting piece, eh?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say, is it's definitely come from them in the way that they, like, the expectations they set, the way that they even trained me in netball and in our sort of just general life. You know, there's a lot of, at 10 years old, I'm being taught positive affirmations and like saying kind things to myself and saying my goals out loud to myself, and not just that I hope that'll happen, that this is what is going to happen. And so I think when you're so young and that's what you're already practicing, then it becomes second nature as you get older. And that's not that to say that I don't have doubts. You definitely get doubts, but when you've practiced that for so long and it's really ingrained in your brain, it's much easier to sort of just let negative doubts pass by. So yeah, it was almost like pre-therapy, you know, when I didn't know.
That is so powerful. That's really. So you were how old? Like 10?
Yeah.
10-ish?
Yeah.
And can you remember what did you have them written down on a mirror or?
We didn't. My most vivid memory is they were taking us for a netball training, and so it's me and other girls as well, and they told us to go and sit across the court and by ourselves and think of like 3 things that you're going to do positively in the game on Saturday. So I'm going to get this many intercepts, or I'm going to do this, and we just had to sit there and say it and say it and say it, and then they told us when you go home, go stand in front of the mirror and say it again. And so that just, I had a lot of buy-in, you know, a huge amount of buy-in into what my parents were saying at that time. So I was doing it, and I don't necessarily do it that way now, but it's just sort of second nature because they had me doing it back then.
Yeah, it's like muscle memory. Where did they get it from? Were they into Tony Robbins or?
Mum, where did you get it from?
That's not something that you instinctively know how to do. Like it's a learned thing. That's so powerful.
Yes, yeah, and I think it worked. You know, not just for me, but with these girls. I was 10, but we played netball together till we were 21, 22, and each and every one of us has been really successful in our own rights and doing well in life. And so I think they played a big part in all of our lives.
Oh, so you played netball up into your 20s. How come you gave the netball away?
Just when I started in the hospital, could not be relied on for team sports and trainings. It was my love. I wanted to be a silver fern.
Were you all right? You're quite short, eh?
I'm so short. I was decent. And for a long time, it was really, really a goal of mine to be a silver fern. And I would always watch, Temapara was the main centre. I was centre at the time. And she looked so short on TV. So I thought, that's okay. She's short, I'm short, like, I can do this. And then we went to a game and she's like this much taller than me. And I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Temapara George, like she may look small on TV, but that's because she's standing next to Irene Van Dyke
exactly.
or whoever it is.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So you gave that away and replaced it with a sport that requires 4 hours of training a day.
I know. But hey, I've got some gold medals and, it's worth it.
So you leave school and then you go to med school and you go to Auckland University.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Because I'm guessing through your education, you never sort of felt like a minority because you're going to school in South Auckland, so you're surrounded by people that look like you or are like you.
Yes.
Then you go to med school. What was that like?
Yeah, no, you're so right about that because I think I've been asked before in conversation whether you sort of experienced any, racism or anything growing up. But I grew up in South Auckland, so we all look the same, and there's so many different people. Not really, but then you go to Auckland Uni, and yes, you really do become a minority, and you're sort of one of maybe 20 in a class of 200 and something that look like you, and you kind of just really gather together. you
find your tribe.
Yeah, you do. You find your tribe, exactly, and that takes you through to med school. So at uni, they do have their own little cohorts and side groups. There's the MAPAS at Auckland Uni, so that's Māori and Pacific Island. We're just stuck together because we have, the same values, came from the same like small places, and it just made it much easier. So I didn't actually feel too out of place or alone.
How hard or overwhelming is med school?
And when you're in the moment of it, it feels extremely overwhelming. I remember so many tears and like sleepless nights of studying, and it felt extremely difficult at the time. And I'd only say that because you go through life and then you realize, that wasn't so bad.
At the end of it.
Yeah, I faced so many more challenges since then, but and especially sort of my hospital colleagues, as a student, you would shadow some maybe senior registrars who are doing their last set of exams, and they'd sort of just look at you and be like, med school's nothing. Like, wait till you get here. And you're sort of, oh my God, what am I doing? But no, it was challenging. Just the high standards. Once you get into med school, the sort of pressure between your peers is less, but trying to get into med school, sort of like each man for themselves. And I really wish there were way more spots than there are. I think a lot of people miss out on getting through to med school just because we don't have enough spots. And we so need more doctors.
Yeah.
Need more doctors.
Is there a massive cull between year 1 and year 2? So you study year 1. Like it goes from what to what?
I think it goes from something like over 1,000 or so to 200, like maybe even a few thousand to 260 in my year. I think maybe it's at 300 now. But we know that there's, in the next 5 years, a whole bunch of at least GPs going to retire, and we don't have anyone to replace them. So it's hard times now, but the future's looking pretty.
And how many years? How many years does it take?
The med school's 6 years. And then you have to do 2 years as a junior minimum to sort of get your registration. And then you decide where to branch off to and what you want to do.
Where were you sort of in your class?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know. I have no idea. I think if you don't really care unless you're at the top. Right. So I wasn't at the top of that one.
Who was at the top? That's who I want as my doctor.
They're doing well. I think they're doing well. One's a pediatrician and the other, I think, is in cardiology or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you graduate and then you become a doctor, and then your first job is at Middlemore Hospital.
Yes.
Why was that? Did you choose to go there, or do you get just placed somewhere?
Yeah, so you can preference where you want to go, and then the hospitals look at your CV and decide whether they want you. But Middlemore Hospital, I did my 4th year and 6th year at med school there, and then I worked there for 3 years as a junior. And it's known as sort of a baptism of fire. You get a lot of learning quickly. One of the hardest places to work, but once you work there, then generally you can work anywhere else. That's what everybody says about Middlemore. And having experienced it, that's very true. It was very overwhelming and sometimes, well, a lot of the times you felt out of your depth and sometimes alone as well, because staffing wasn't so or isn't so great, but you learn a lot. The people you're working with are amazing human beings. It kind of attracts a certain type of people, and so it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. Like you're traumatized from what's happening by the system, but the people and the patients that you love and is what keeps you going there, or what makes students want to work there. Yeah.
What about your first day there? So you walk into Middlemore Hospital as your first day. I can't imagine how nerve-wracking that is.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done all this training, years and years of training, and I suppose you've had placements or whatever beforehand. But, everyone remembers like going to a new school for the first day or starting a new job. But this is like next level first job stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. And you feel like still a teenager. You really do. You feel like a teenager who's suddenly been given this role, and when people ask you things, you're sort of looking around like, wait, are you asking me? I know I've just been at school for 6 years, but this seems like a big step. My first day was a long day, so that's when you start at 7 and finish at 10. And part of that shift, or half of that shift, you'd be the only doctor on, the junior doctor, for like maybe 4 or 5 wards. And so that was crazy overwhelming. It was probably the most stressful day because it was right at the beginning, and you walk through a ward and everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody needs something from you. And we don't learn how to cope with that when we're at med school, that sort of like being pulled in all sorts of directions and not always knowing the answer. I definitely had to step out and have a cry during that shift because it was just, something that I'd never experienced before. And actually there's the series Diary of a Junior Doctor that just came out, I think, a couple of months ago, and it's really well done. It's at Middlemore Hospital, and it follows some junior doctors, and it's real what they show on there, and it kind of brings back a lot of memories, good and bad.
Yeah, it must be quite triggering.
It was surprisingly very triggering for myself and my colleagues as well. Some people couldn't make it through the series because for a lot of people they left the hospital because of how busy or how overwhelming. And I think when you're in general practice, you have a sort of the way that you're driven is to sort of stop people from getting to that point. And we're not so, I think in the hospital, it's very outcome driven. So you come in and I give you this treatment and then you go home and like fixed, off you go. Whereas in general practice, there's a bit of that, but it's also, okay, so how do we take care of your health so that you don't end up needing to get to that place? Yeah.
So how long were you at Middlemore for?
I was there for 3 years.
Right. What was the hardest day on the job? Is there one that stands out?
I think they have a theme, and it's when you're a junior and your seniors are busy in surgery, but there is something like bad news or some kind of procedure that needs to be done by a senior, but you're all that there is. And so you're having to sort of be talked on the phone through some steps of how to do something. And I guess like one I remember was delivering some bad news about a scan to a man and his family. And that was within my first couple of weeks. And I was just on the phone with the senior like, I don't even really understand what the scan is showing. I don't know if I can then go and tell him this really bad news. But there was nothing that could be done. And so just sort of trying to remove yourself from the situation, because actually I'm not the one receiving bad news. It's going to be much worse for him. And stepping into okay, I'm going to try and be as compassionate as I can for this patient in this moment and just do the best that I can.
Does that communication piece get any easier?
It does, yeah, it does, with confidence. And it's
some doctors are terrible at it, eh? You must have seen like all ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Like some doctors incredibly intelligent and gifted at what they do, but just no bedside manner.
Yes, those people do exist, and it's a really important thing to me. Communication and building trust with patients. Getting them to feel like they are in control of their health and making it sort of a combined effort that you and I are working together to get you to this place, not just I am telling you this. Let's make this plan together and see what you think about it. And I think a lot of us end up in general practice because we get to do that. We get to build relationships with our patients and see them for years and through their whole lives, basically. Like, I've been in general practice for 6 years and I have already, met my patient, and then they've had a baby and now their baby's 4, and I, saw that baby in a scan when it was not conceived, but in a scan.
I see what you mean. It's these connections you build, and then that child's going to come to see you through their life. And
exactly. Yeah. And I think back in the days, like, you would see that child have a baby, and I think that's how general practice works best, and it's really hard to even do it that way in the current climate.
Yeah. Can you remember the first time a patient or a family of a patient yelled at you or abused you?
Oh,
so many firsts.
Yeah, I can't remember the first, but I do remember one that sticks out pretty clearly. And it feels very threatening when it happens. And in general practice, it's just you and them in a closed door, so it can feel pretty scary. But that sort of de-escalation, not that I don't think I've ever been taught how to do it, but most of the time it's coming from a place for them of not being heard or being frustrated with a system. And I don't think it was ever sort of me personally, but if we could just bring it down and talk human to human and get to the basis of what it is, then that sort of usually works when people are, not high on drugs or anything like that, when it's just a normal angry person.
Yeah. Is that a major issue, the drugs?
I wouldn't say in general practice. I would say an ED for sure. When I was working in the hospital, you would hear it all the time, especially on night shift. There's security guards. There's always people around trying to stop, violence and huge alcohol and drugs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So during those Middlemore years, how often were you finishing your shift and just going home and crying in the shower?
Oh no, I just cry in the toilet on my shift.
How often?
I don't wait.
How often? Is it once a week? Once a month?
I think it was maybe once a run for me.
Once a run? What's a run?
Once 3 months. So every 3 months you change your.
Oh, that's not bad. 4 times a year.
But it's different for everyone, and I really did enjoy the fast pace, move on to the next one, sort of vibe of Middlemore Hospital, and I think I handled it pretty well. It's just that the reason why I left was I liked everything. I enjoyed everything. Some people will have a sort of, I want to say run again, attachment or placement that they definitely don't like that. They definitely don't want to do surgery or definitely don't want to do mental health. And I literally loved every single run that I did. And I couldn't see myself just picking one and also being in the hospital for the rest of my life. So I get to do everything in GP.
Yeah, I suppose just a couple more on the Middlemore years. So in that hospital environment, I suppose it's quite transactional. Like you're just churning through patients all the time.
Yeah.
But are there any or many like patients or cases that stick with you that you still think about to this day?
There's a couple, and I think they're ones that remind me of family members. Those are the ones that really stick with me. I was on a night shift once, and one of the patients, he was having real trouble breathing overnight, and he didn't have any family with him, and so we'd had to get like ICU to review him and put him on breathing apparatuses, and it was just a hard night for him. And he did remind me of my dad, and so it was quite emotional. Like even just thinking about it now makes me emotional. But he was okay. But in the morning when I was about to go home, I had finished my shift. I just thought, if his family comes to see him today and he's completely hooked up, that's so scary. So I called his wife and before I went home just to let her know, like, this has happened overnight and he's hooked up to a lot of things right now, so when you come, like, don't worry, or don't be alarmed. And that just felt normal to me. But someone was sitting next to me and said, oh my gosh, that's really nice that you just called his wife to let him know that. And I thought, was it? Like, I was just sort of trying to like let this family know that he's having a rough time, but don't be too alarmed when you come in and you see that all of this stuff has just arrived at his bedside. And it really did remind me of my dad. So, yeah, even though that was like 5 years ago, it's still sort of, you still think about patients and care about them.
That's beautiful. I was thinking the same thing. Is that sort of like a procedural thing or protocol, or you just had made the choice to phone the family and let them know?
Yeah, I had just made the choice to let them know. Because I thought, I would have been so scared if I just turned up and he looked like that.
That's next level duty of care, eh? That's really cool. That's really sweet. Yeah.
But yeah, those are the ones that stick with you. And I'm sure there's so many others. Yeah.
When someone dies in that hospital environment and you've been involved with them, like does that play on you, or do you just have to draw a line in the sand and you move on?
Yeah, it's so quick in the hospital environment, and it sounds so morbid, but as soon as that happens, then someone else has moved straight into that room in that spot, and now you need to look after that person, and so it is very quick, and you kind of do move on. I think it depends on how much involvement you had with a patient, but things have to move pretty quickly.
Yeah, I suppose you just don't have time to dwell or mourn, eh?
No.
What was the most valuable lesson you learned from your time at Middlemore?
Most valuable? So many lessons from Middlemore Hospital. I think just my time at Middlemore Hospital, or anyone's time at Middlemore Hospital, you just learn so much about the community that it serves and how much struggle there is and how the difficulties that patients are going through, and that, if you say, oh, could you come and follow up in 2 weeks with me? Like, that is a huge thing to a lot of people. That's not just something that you can pick up and do and say yes, absolutely to. People don't have cars. People don't have money for appointments. And you feel that so heavily when you're working in South Auckland. And so it's just learning all of that stuff outside of your medical expertise, is that these are your people and these are the type of people that you're working with. And so keep all of that in mind and be compassionate in the plans that you are making with these patients, because it's really, really hard out there. I think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah. Do you think it changed you as a person at all? Like, did it make you like more compassionate or more cynical or you know, or tougher?
Yeah. Somehow all of that, it makes you all of that, because you have to be tough.
Yeah.
And you can't break down every sad story that you hear, but you also need to take all of that into account, that whole person into account, not just their symptoms. And you know, there's a lot of social work that goes into being a doctor in South Auckland as well. So it makes you tough, it makes you compassionate, it makes you understand more about what living in South Auckland is really like. I mean, I have lived in South Auckland my whole life, so I do know. But I think especially for people who work at Middlemore but have never lived in South Auckland, that's what they quickly learn.
Yeah, and a lot of it's like the family environment you're brought into. Like, not everyone's lucky enough to be brought into a family like yours, where you've got these incredible role models.
Yeah.
You know, teaching you, you know, visualization and things like that at the age of 10.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just a testament to my parents and what they wanted for themselves, because I know that wasn't the upbringing that they had as individuals, and so they made a different path for us.
So why the switch from Middlemore to becoming a GP, which is sort of like a family doctor, right? Yeah, and how do you explain that? Is it a cruisier lifestyle, being a GP?
Yeah, I think in terms of hours, yes, because we don't do night shifts and we don't do the long 15-hour shifts or 2 weeks in a row. So yes, it is lifestyle-wise. The variety is huge. Like, we're jacks of all trades, really. We look after babies, elderly, men's health, women's health, mental health. Where I work is rural, so I still get to do, cut out some skin cancers and suture up some big lacerations. So you get to do everything, and I love that about GP. And so, like I'd mentioned before, that's why I wanted to do it, because I couldn't tie myself to one specialty. I wanted to be involved in all parts of a patient's life and do all of that type of medicine. And so with that comes, a level of uncertainty being out of the hospital that you need to learn how to deal with. When juniors come out of the hospital and they're training at our practice, when I'm going through cases with them, they're often sort of like, should we order this test, and another test, and another test? And I'm like, oh, from where? We're not in the hospital anymore. Tests are not a big part of our job. It's a small part of our job, but it's mostly getting the history, and that's where you get all your information from, and sort of from all your studies and years, pattern recognition, figuring out what's it most likely to be, what would I be shit scared that it is, and I need to make sure it's not, and how do we meet in the middle together with not a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And for some people, they don't want that uncertainty is too much to live with.
Oh, how was the COVID period for you? Were you a GP during the COVID years?
I was just started to train literally the first year. So that the first COVID year was my introduction to general practice, which was not general practice at all. So, we're on telephones and hardly actually seeing patients and being all masked up.
Yeah, PPE, the head to toe.
Head to toe.
And then stripping down in a garage at home. And
yes. And being, so worried that you're going to give it to someone that it's at home. And it was a really scary time for everyone, for patients included. But that was my introduction to GP practice, was everyone wanting to know, can I get tested because someone had COVID at Pack and Save in Pukekohe, and and I was also in Pukekohe. Yeah.
This might seem like a dumb question. Does your strength come in handy, or does it not matter? Is it irrelevant?
people think it comes in hand. They're always like, hey, pick this box up. I'm like, no, if you put it on a barbell, maybe. I don't.
No, I was thinking, like, in terms of, I don't know if you need to, like, roll a patient over for dressing or, I don't know.
I think it is easier for me, for sure.
Yeah, what do you think people misunderstand most about what GPs actually do?
Yes. Well, someone just said all I do is prescribe Augmentin all day. No.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just basing it on my GP. Actually, no, Dr. Alison McGrew is a wonderful doctor. Although she's a real stinge with Zopiclones.
Me too.
Really? Why? God, I'm like, Dr. Ellison, I've got a flight coming up. I don't want jet lag, and I want a better sleep. And she give me like 5 of them. It's like, come on.
She sounds like my girl. Yeah, Dr. Ellison.
Why are you guys? I need someone like Michael Jackson's doctor, somewhere in between.
No.
So Dr. Ellison's there.
Yeah.
Dr. Conrad Murray's there. I need someone. Just give me a few more zoppies. I'm not going to misuse them.
Look, but this is the thing. We don't know. We won't tell you, but do we really trust? I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty stingy, but then patients are like, it trains patients and they don't expect more than 10 or so from me. Biggest honestly, I think it is that we see coughs and colds every single day and that it is pretty cruisy. If I had at least 2 coughs or colds a day, I would be so happy. Like, I would get a mental break. The general practice has changed so much, just with, I guess, rise in the way the life stresses that we have are causing such a rise in mental health issues, anxiety and depression. And so we see a lot of that, a lot of complex things, patients that have 5 medical problems with 15 medications, and so we're dealing with a lot more complexity and things that just need more than 15 minutes. This is such an outdated way of practicing. So I think that's what it is that actually we see so much more complex things in such a small amount of time, and we're just trying to survive.
Yeah, how do you manage that? Because you have like 15-minute blocks or 20-minute blocks or whatever they are.
Yes.
And you can give someone some advice in that time, really, but you can't change their entire life in that time, can you?
Exactly.
That's got to be hard.
Yeah. And I mean, the reason why we're all running late is because we try to. That's the issue, is that, we have 15-minute blocks back to back. By the time you've grabbed the patient in, 12 minutes has gone. You're down to 12. And then you need to be nice and how are you and how is your day? And, if I met you a year ago, how are the kids? And then you've got 10 minutes. So it's impossible. It's not safe. It doesn't give us a lot of time to practice, I think, the best medicine, because a lot of the times I think I hear a lot of, they'll just give you a tablet. I'm sick of just getting a medication or something like that. And it's really mostly because we just don't have time to go through anything else, through the good lifestyle stuff, the eating, the sleeping, the seeing friends and all of that good stuff, exercise, all of that. We sort of just assume that this person knows, okay, let's move on to the next step because we only have 6 more minutes to go through this. And by the way, they've got 5 more things on their piece of paper to talk about. So it's really high pressure in that sort of way. And again, people are struggling with finances, and it's hard to convince people to come back or book longer. The odd time, and I understand that pressure. I understand that it's hard, but I guess it's just that we, the patient and the doctor, each need to have some humanity and realize that, this is why the days are going late and we're trying to give everyone an extra 5 minutes. So by the lunchtime, you are going to be an hour late. And it's just, it's hard to do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for explaining that, because I always wondered, like, if I've got a 9:30 appointment, I'm like, how can she be running late
already? That one is hard. That one's hard to explain, okay? That one is hard.
Yeah. What about burnout? Shit, it's a lot, eh? It's quite funny, because I thought GP would be a lot slower pace of life than what Middlemore is, and I suppose it is in some ways, but it comes with its own sets of challenges. Is burnout an issue for you or your peers?
Definitely for all of us. And because, yes, we'll see 24 patients a day, which
Wow.
is a big turnover, even in hospital terms. And then in between that, there's, I'm sure everyone who's listening has sent an email to their doctor asking questions. So in between those patients, we're reading those and doing prescriptions and looking at blood test results and all of that stuff. So it's burnout is happening more. I see it more. I experience it at least twice a year. But usually it coincides with me going to a world championship. So then I just go and lift some heavy weights for a week in another country and come back. But I think I have been able to experience it a little bit less because I have my lifting. I've got that massive outlet, almost like other life that I can just sort of like step out of GP, step into this other role that's really fun and cool.
Yeah, that must almost feel like an alter ego in a way.
Yeah. Yes.
Like you put that belt on, put the chalk on your hands, and you become like a
absolutely
savage.
Yeah, I'm sure my teammates are listening to this like, why is she talking so nice? She's like not nice to us.
Really?
I'm not mean, but I'm a hard ass. Yeah, at training.
Hard ass to who?
So we have a club, and I train with people who also compete, at regional or national level, and they range from like 18-year-olds to sort of 40-year-olds, and so I just keep them to standard. Make
Keep
sure
them
that keep them honest.
Do you feel like by the way, we're going to get to the sports stuff first, but we've just got a couple more on the academia side of things, as your mum would say. Do you think some of your patients could do with some of that sort of tough love that you do in the gym?
Yeah. Yes, it's a balance, and I do give them some tough love. One of my patients brought his wife with him, and the way he introduced me was, "This is my doctor. She's really smiley, but she'll shoot you." And I thought, this is true. I won't shoot you. I'll shoot you with the truth if you need it.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. How do you handle it when you suspect a patient isn't telling you the truth or giving you the full picture?
Sometimes you can. It's like you're an investigator. That's what I like about my job too, is kind of you're interrogating people and trying to make timelines fit. And sometimes from the investigation, you can hear that actually this doesn't really make sense when I checked. And you just ask again, and they kind of know that, oh, you've asked a couple of times now, I should probably tell you the truth. And it's not that they're doing it in a sinister way. It's just that it's hard to meet a stranger and tell them your deepest, darkest secrets within the first 10 minutes of meeting that person. So, yeah, sometimes it just takes a few consults to get to it, to build that trust. But yeah, we almost can't expect a patient to just give it all to us because we're the doctor.
Also, I suppose sometimes it's embarrassing. Like there's a bit of shame.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to admit how much you're drinking or what you're eating or what your diet looks like. It's embarrassing.
Exactly. And I think one of the things I've learned is that you just completely overshoot. So how much do you drink? A lot. What, like 5 bottles a day?
Oh, no, not that much.
Yeah.
Only 3.
No, just 2. Okay.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. What recurring issues are you seeing more lately in your patients, physically or mentally?
Yeah, a lot of anxiety, and depression. We're lucky, and a lot of us will have this, is where we can enroll patients into a program where they get 30-minute free sessions. So I will have maybe 3 or 4 of those a day to follow up people with their depression and anxiety. That's a huge one. And then for the sort of medical side of things, diabetes and heart failure and blood pressure and cholesterol issues, that's sort of bread and butter GP stuff. Yeah, a lot of, not that I am assessing it, a lot of ADHD and questions about autism and people wondering about that. And that's hard too, because the access to being able to get the answers to that questions is almost non-existent publicly for patients. So, yeah, a lot of mental health.
What's something more people can do to take better care of their health? Something that you wish everyone knew?
Yeah. I wish everyone at school or somewhere learned what we know as the basics and what you know as the basics, which would be, how to sleep well, how to eat well, and what does that look like? Because I get some pretty crazy answers when I really try to get down to it with some patients. Sometimes we'll go through cholesterol and I'll be asking about diet and what are you eating and is there anything fried, or no, it's fine. Do you eat butter? No, I only cook with it. So, and everything's cooked in butter. And for them, that's better than margarine or olive oil because nobody taught them. And I think that gets missed a lot in probably school is the best place to get that knowledge from. But the basics of health and exercise, strength exercise, I talk about that a lot with my patients if any time it can come up, for bone health, muscle health, and mental health as well. So I wish they're not that it's the people's fault, but I wish there was a way that people knew more about the basics of lifestyle things that they could do. Yeah.
Why don't we have more knowledge? The information's everywhere, eh? It's never been more accessible than what it is now.
Yeah, there's too much information and it's it's really hard for patients to divvy through all that information and know what's one person's conspiracy post about seed oils versus a evidence-based, fully qualified dietitian's advice. So yes, there is really good advice out there, but it's interpreting it, and that's what not many people know how to do.
Is our health system broken in New Zealand?
Yes. It is. It's not working for our patients. It's not set up to allow us to deliver timely health care. And because there's no time or there's long wait lists, then we can't deliver the care that people deserve. And we try to with what we have, but there's a better way out there. And there are smarter people than me who are thinking about those ways. But, in GP itself, the model, it doesn't work and it's never going to work. And we're just trying to fit as much as we're doing 10-minute medicine, basically, which sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It's like a speed date.
Yeah, that's crazy. Exactly. You wouldn't expect to know anything from a speed date, but somehow in these 10, 15 minutes, I'll learn as much as I can about my patient.
So if the Prime Minister or the Minister of Health was here right now and you had a minute with them, what would be the point that you want to emphasise? What would you want to tell them?
Wow. I think a big one that would target a lot of areas is getting more doctors graduated and opening up those seats. I would love for it not to be this sort of prestigious job anymore and just get more people in. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand medicine and pattern recognition. A lot more people can do this job than they allow through university. And I think that's going to take a while to grow these doctors that we need, but we just need them. We need them so badly.
Yeah, it's alarming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on AI, or is there any thoughts of AI in medicine circles and the impact that's potentially going to have for good or for bad?
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know if it's in your practice, but some of the doctors in my practice use it just to note keep. So they don't really type notes anymore. AI is listening to the consult and puts it in some kind of report. So it's already being used in that way to save time. And the people who use it feel a lot that they have more time, but also that the cognitive fatigue is less, is what is coming up, that because they don't have to process the information twice, that the energy levels are a little bit better, and so then burnout is a bit better. But in the hospital, I'm sure there are many, many more ways that it can be used. I just don't know of them, but that's how we're using it in GP.
It's an exciting time, eh?
Yeah.
And if it makes the health outcomes better for people, it's got to be good in the long run.
Yeah. And I guess, a big thing that people talk about is when I go to the doctor, they're just looking and typing at the computer. And so if AI can be typing the notes out for you, you actually get to see the patient. The patient gets to see you. And we've heard from patients that it's a little bit awkward because I've never seen you look at me so much. But that can only be good for rapport.
Although, if you're talking about intensely personal stuff, sometimes it's nice to have that conversation if it's not direct eye contact.
Yeah.
It can be quite intimidating.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for sharing all this stuff. We've been going for over an hour now and we haven't even got to the sports stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's all been academia.
Mum will be happy.
So while you're at med school, you're playing netball, you have dreams of being a silver fern, then you realise that they just can't coexist together because of your schedule.
And my height.
Oh, yeah.
Big one there.
You meet Timapata George and you realise that, you're a shorty. So why powerlifting of everything you could have done?
I just started going to the gym. So I also never used to go to the gym because when you're playing netball and you're in a few teams, you're just training most days anyway. So I joined a gym in my first year at the hospital. And then I just sort of started seeing on Instagram women squatting like 170 kilos, 180 kilos, and they looked really, really strong. And they also were like super toned and like ripped. And I thought, I want to look like that. I want to be that strong. So I just got a PT to show me how to do the movements and kind of just found out that I was like naturally very strong.
What is that? Is that Tongan genetics?
I think, I've got to be careful with that answer, eh? Both. It's both. It's Tongan and Māori genetics.
But I was thinking about it this morning when I had my run. I don't know. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but no one's born naturally strong, or are they? Do people just have natural strength?
I think definitely genetic,
Okay.
and you see that across other countries as well. But yes, Pacific Island Māori is very strong. Every time I talk about the powerlifting and hope that it gets to the rest of New Zealand, I just have this feeling that the usurper is listening and like they're going to come and be as strong as I am in my sport, which I welcome. But yeah, I think it's a Kiwi thing too.
Can you remember your first squat?
Yes.
What was it? Just the bar?
It was.
20 kilo bar.
Oh, just the bar, and then we worked up to I think it was 3 triples at 100. So that was. I thought that was normal, but my PT was like, that's not normal. That's pretty strong. You should have a look at the sport. And it just, went from there. As soon as I started looking at the New Zealand records in my head, I was planning, okay, I'm going to do this sport for a year, maybe 2, get top 3 in New Zealand, and then I'm going to do my GP training, and that's it. That was a fun time. So it didn't work out that way. I'm glad.
So did you get quite good quite quickly?
Yes, yeah, and that kind of happens to everyone. They at the beginning, newbie gains, they're really fun. You just get strong quickly the more you train. But it did take a little while to get to this level. So it still took maybe like 4 years to get to the level I'm at.
And your first competition was in 2018.
Yes.
Yeah. What are your recollections of that?
It was really nerve-wracking because you come from team sport and you're playing with your teammates, and there's the crowd is your family. So you don't get that stage fright type of feeling. But in powerlifting, it's just you in the center stage and the crowd is in front of you. And the crowd was maybe 30 people. But it was still really nerve-wracking to sort of think you're getting on a stage in front of people to perform. But as soon as you get your first squat, you get addicted. You should do a competition.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm terrible with leg day. I have started doing strength and conditioning again to help with my running. But Yeah, I can probably bench more than what I could squat at the moment.
Okay.
I got the highest I ever got. I had a personal trainer many years ago, and he was big on legs, so I got up to three plates, so 140 kilos all up.
Nice.
And I shat myself once.
Oh, hey, that's the commitment.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Like push, yeah. No, so I got down, parallel with the floor, and then getting back up again, I pushed so hard,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a poo came out.
Well, hey, did you make it all the way up?
I did, and that was the session over. So then, okay, if I really want to get out of it, that's what I got to do. I got to shit myself.
I on a regular basis talk to patients about poo, so this is fine.
Oh, yeah, you're okay with it. It's not your first rodeo. No. Do you remember? Yeah, before you, like when you're in a competition, what do you do? Like, do you listen to music to hype yourself up?
Yeah.
What's your pre-lift routine?
So there's warm-ups, obviously, out back, and it's kind of a funny sport where because it's weight class based and you have to make weight, you are weight cutting, and then you have like a 1.5 hour window to rehydrate and get some food in and warm up for your first squat. So I used to really enjoy that part, was just eating food and drinking electrolytes or energy drinks before you warm up. And then, there's hype music playing in your earphones, and you're kind of just, some people want to talk and have fun and things. I'm less the fun, talkative type and more the, like, get out of my face, just tell me what I need to lift type. That's how I lift. And
Game face on.
Game face.
What are you listening to? J-Lo. You like J-Lo, right?
J-Lo? Maybe in general, I like J-Lo, but we go like a little bit meaner for competitions. At first, controversial, but it was a lot of DMX in the beginning, and then it kind of just changes as competition goes by. Like, you might have a song that makes you feel a certain way and can help you emotionally get to that spot. So it changes all the time, but the better the noise cancelling headphones, the better.
And then, do you have like steps that you go through in your head when you go out to the bar, or like what are you focusing on? You're focusing on your breathing.
Yeah.
Do you have like statements that you're repeating to yourself?
Yeah, when you're new, that's going through your head a lot. You know, you're trying to remember the calls that you have to listen to, and sort of you're trying to create your flow. Now I don't really think about anything because it is flow basically, and there's not a lot of thinking going on. But when things are on the line, championships or podium places, again, back to the positive self-talk, a lot of affirmations going on, and right before going on, there may be something. This year, at Sheffield, it was my third Sheffield, and I came second. And so before that final deadlift was, I just kept saying, like, it's my time, it's my time, it's my time, it's my time. And I'll just keep saying it until I get to that bar. Positive stuff.
That's so cool. I read an interview with you way back, and at this point you'd go to the bar and you'd look at the bar and you'd say, "You're mine." Yes,
yeah, I still do.
So cute.
Yeah, you're mine, or fight, or you're mine. That's a common one.
What about drug testing? Is drug testing big in your sport?
Massive.
Are drugs rife in the sport?
Not in our federation. So we are a drug tested federation, a part of Drug Free Sport New Zealand, and I get tested in and out of competition. Like, they knock on my door at 6 a.m. and get me to pee. So they are very drug tested. But there's other federations that are not drug tested, and you'll probably be able to tell a difference. So yes, in our federation, super drug test controlled, and people get very angry if anyone tests positive, which
rightfully so.
Almost never happens with people at the top. It's kind of always people, I don't know, out of the top 10.
Do you remember your first drug test? That must be quite confrontational.
It was so confrontational. I was not expecting it because, for people who don't know, need to see your urine leave your body. So that's how close up and personal it has to be. And it's really hard to be in front of somebody. So the process can take ages. But at least you know that this is the standard that is being tested, and you can feel very safe that people you're going against aren't cheating.
And you're probably in a position, you deal with feces and urine all the time in your line of work, so it's probably less foreign to you than what it is for some other people, but it's still awkward, right?
Yeah, it's still awkward.
So there's a lady in the room with you?
Yes.
So you're just sitting on a toilet?
And if it's a little cubicle, they're literally like right here, just watching.
I couldn't go.
You couldn't.
I could never go in that environment.
It's really, really hard. Yeah. It's so hard to stage fright, to pee in front of somebody, and it is so awkward because they're just like, like hold everything up and keep everything out of the way, and it's like, okay, hi, what's your name again?
It's awkward because they're just doing a job as well. They don't want to watch someone pee.
No.
They're just doing a job.
And I think they usually, this is sort of like a casual job for them too. Like they have normal jobs during the day, and then they just sign up to do these tests every now and then. So they are really just normal people.
Yeah. So what does your diet look like? So at the point where we're recording this, you're 2 weeks out from a competition.
Yeah.
Is this like an intense diet stage?
It is maybe it's different for everyone. I'm lucky that I sit fairly close to my weight class. So 2-3 months out is just pretty boring and clean in the way that there's enough protein and carbs for fueling yourself. There's not a lot of fats. And then, on the weekend there is treat meal. And that's competition. So for me it's pretty standard. I've done it for years. It's normal, and usually it's the people around me who care more that I'm not like having a piece of cake or whatever. I do look forward to the day where I can just do that.
So like an average day of eating?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Yeah. So in the morning I would have like 2 eggs, 3 toasts, honey on 1 toast and coffee. And then I'd have protein yogurt and protein powder and fruits for snack. And then lunch and dinner is very much the same. There'd be a meat, veggies, lots of veggies, and a carb like potato or something like that. And then my snacks are basically the same, but it's the same every day. I'm a creature of habit. I love routine, and I don't get bored of the food that I eat every single day, which helps a lot. It's pretty easy for me to do. Yeah, but the sport, with the sport, there's not a lot of calorie burning in it. We train for hours at a time, but we're quite literally just building muscle and getting inflamed. And so it's not like a sport, maybe like running or CrossFit, where you have to really refuel a lot, because actually my expenditure is not that big.
And in terms of that treat meal or treat day you're talking about, what's that? We like to cook, so we'll usually cook something, and then at least that way I kind of know what's going on. So it would change, like we might make ribs or might make a brisket or burgers, and so I love food. So we're doing this podcast in the morning on a Friday.
Yeah.
You're at the gym this afternoon. What would that session this afternoon look like? How many hours are you going to be there?
Yeah, I will be there for maybe 4.5 hours today.
Wow.
Yes. Today is a heavy day, so I've got a heavy squat and heavy bench session, and it just takes a lot longer to warm up to sort of those 200 kilo areas, and it just it takes a bit of time and rest. It doesn't feel like 4 hours, but by the time you get to sort of 6:37 and you left home at 1, you're sort of like, oh my God, I'm still here.
It's such a sacrifice, eh? Like in terms of the training, like it's massive. It's a massive commitment.
Yeah.
So you go to the gym. So say a 4-hour session or whatever it happens to be today. So your first lift, what is it? Like a real light set to begin with?
Yeah.
How light?
Yeah. I'll start with the bar. I always start with the bar just to, I guess it's more of a practice in keeping things the same. And then you go like bar, 70 kilos, 100 kilos, 130 kilos. And then you jump maybe 15 to 20 kilos until you get to 170 and then slow it down a bit from there.
You're just doing one rep on each of those? Or
maybe for today, because it's a heavy, I'll do maybe 3 or 4 reps until I get to 180. I might do 2 and then I'll slow it down to match whatever I'm about to do. But yeah, it's pretty taxing, pretty taxing on the body. I always feel bad because there's a lot of rest time, and I never used to feel bad because I was at a private gym, but now I feel I'm like, are people watching me and wondering why I'm just sitting down doing supposedly nothing? But I promise I'm lifting weights.
Like how long is the break between?
Yeah, I keep a timer now because I'm so aware, but like 3 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. I've done longer at Jets.
Oh, okay.
I'll do a set.
Yeah.
Very light weights, mind you, and then I'll just sit there and scroll on my phone for 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. Well, heavies, yes. When I'm working up to a heavy, like 10 minutes probably.
I reckon other people would be looking like, God, she's hogging all these weights and she's just sitting there.
Probably just hogging that area, really, just hogging that corner. Because, my gym bag is like this huge and it's full of all my equipment and gear. And yeah, I mean, I also don't really tell people that I have a world championship or 2 titles. So I sometimes wonder if they're sort of like, why does she have so many things? Like, why is she just doing this for a gym session? But they could also just not be thinking about me at all.
When you've got a heavy lifting day like today, do you get anxious beforehand? Like, are you nervous thinking about it now?
Yeah, I get excited. I just really love lifting heavy weights, and I love the thought of, what could I do today? What am I going to lift today? Do I hope that I can lift today? So I get really excited, and I sort of spend the whole day just kind of trying to prepare for it, whether that be like rolling out on the floor and stretching and just making sure that I really did sleep well the night before, and I'm just trying to line my whole life up for this one heavy session.
Wow. And do your patients know what you do?
Some of them do, yeah. My regulars know, mostly like my elderly patients, because they're so interested to know and more about, their doctor. And so, yeah, we've had a lot of hugs and a lot of celebrations the last couple of weeks, because I would have seen them before Worlds, and then now they want to know what happened. So they do know, but I think then also a lot will be like, oh my God, I didn't know that she did that. That's why I can never get in to see her.
Is your work quite good? Like at the moment, because you've got a big competition coming up, you're down to 2 days a week. Is your work quite understanding,
very,
quite supportive?
Absolutely, like very understanding. And that's just a part of why I love working there. And they would be the same for anyone else. They're really understanding with family commitments for the other GPs and for me. And I think it's just that it's so hard to get GPs at the moment. And so I don't think it's selfish of them, but I do think they want to make sure that we're happy and want to stay working there.
So if you cut back to 2 days a week, you only get paid for the 2 days? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's massive sacrifices you're making, eh? For this sport where there's no sort of real financial incentive to speak of.
Yeah. I think it's more like I don't feel like I'm sacrificing things, but more that I'm just giving extra things to be able to do, to be able to pursue this, because it's pretty rare that anyone in their life gets to pursue a world title in anything. And I think more than anything, I feel really privileged that I have a job that would allow me to save up enough to take 6 months of less work and not, completely, not go into any debt or not worry too much about money, and actually just do this for 6 months. So I think it's more of, I give a lot, but then I get a lot back, and because of the privilege that I have.
Yeah, even though it's very much a niche and minority sport. What's that like the first time you represent your country?
Yeah, it's amazing. it's Kiwi sport kids always want to wear the fern. Like we just grow up wanting to wear the fern and so obsessed with a fern. And so the first time I got my uniform, we have, I think, the best powerlifting uniform. So it's just this big fern across our suits. I just felt so proud. And the first time I got to wear it was in New Zealand at a Commonwealth Championship. And so that was extremely special. There's a lot in our sport, a lot of like t-shirt swapping and suit swapping, and it's taken me so long to be able to get to that place because I just, even though I have so many of them, they're mine. Like I wanted to wear it for so long and I worked so hard for it. I find it so hard to think about switching.
You know, I haven't had him on the podcast. He'd be a dream guest though, but I believe Richie McCaw was like that. Apparently he was a real Scrooge with his jerseys.
Really?
Like swapping jerseys with opponents, yeah. He ended up with like 148 of them. Like, chill out, Richie. You're the same, eh? That's so funny.
Yeah, I just, when I watch it and I watch people switching, I'm like, that's so cool. And then people ask me, I'm like, I'm so sorry. This year was the first time I did it, and I'm glad I did. I gave it to two amazing strong women, and I'll probably wear one of their suits today at my squat session. But it took me a long time.
Why is the sport not an Olympic or Commonwealth Games sport?
I'm not actually sure. I know they've been trying for the longest time. I have no idea why, but I think we're closer than ever with being a part of the World Games to getting into the Olympics. But yeah, I might have to be a cheerleader for one of my other friends by that time.
Yeah, would you be keen to, once your time's up, will you be keen to stay in the sport as like a coach or a mentor or something? Do you think lifting will always be a part of your life? Yeah,
I think in some shape or form, fitness will always be a part of my life, and so strength will always be a part. And I have, my best friend is still up and coming in the sport, and so I think if we get to the Olympics, she's going to go, and then I'll just be a carry-on luggage with her so that I can go too.
Yeah, strength training is good, eh? Is it something that you try and like bang into your patients?
Yeah. If it comes up, I'm straight in there. You know, we're both doing like bodyweight squats and showing them how to do it. And especially with my elderly patients, I inherited a few who already go to the gym, and so it's really cool to introduce new exercises to them or talk to them about their training. I think strength training is, it's competitive for me, but in life, and I see it every day, when I go to get my 80-year-old patient, and if they can get out of their chair without pushing, holy moly, that's amazing. Wow. That's amazing strength, and that's probably somebody who has, in some shape or form, been exercising or doing weights, and then maybe I see someone who's a bit younger and it's really hard for them to get out of the chair. Those are the things that I see in strength that maybe people who are just going to the gym might not realize that that's what you're setting yourself up for, is for when you're 70, 80, you are walking fine, you're able to be functional and you're able to lift things and do things.
Yeah, there's this incredible book I like. It's by a guy called Dr. Peter Attia called Outlive. And it's basically, it's a really long book, but in a nutshell, it's about reverse engineering aging. So his sort of take is, if you're 70 and you see yourself travelling somewhere and you want to be able to put a 15-kilo suitcase in an overhead carrier, then when you're 40 or 50, you need to be doing a lot more than that because it's going to decline.
Absolutely.
And he's like, if you want to be sightseeing around Croatia, the old town of Croatia in your 60s or 70s, then you're going to have to be able to run or walk like 10 kilometres when you're 30, 40, 50, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And it's a really good way of looking at it. But because there'd be nothing worse, than being old and being trapped in a body that you can't do the things you want it to do.
Yeah, and it is really, really sad. And, and my patients share that with me. They always say, don't get old. And I'm like, when they're struggling,
all going to get old. It's how we get old.
Yes, it is, exactly. And they're showing me the importance of how do you want to get old. And so, I talk to them about strength a lot.
Yeah. What are your big goals in the sport before you're done?
Yeah. Ooh. I feel like I came in like hard and fast, and then I did a whole bunch of things really quickly. And so sort of 3.5 years at the top level has felt like maybe 6 years. So I feel like I've been in it longer than I actually have. I have 2 world titles, 1 second. A big goal was to get on the podium at Sheffield. You know, that podium is taken from 12 female champions, so that podium's important. World Games, I would love to podium and get one of their massive Olympic-looking medals. And then we've got Sheffield in January again, and I just take it comp by comp. Every year I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it easy now, but the drive just keeps turning up, and I'm like, oh gosh, but it just doesn't, it's not stopping at the moment.
Does it piss you off that you're not a bigger deal in New Zealand? Like that, I suppose the sport, or you as an individual with your achievements, doesn't get like more of a light shone on it?
I really wish that we were a bigger deal. And I mean, I'm one world champion. We have another female world champion in New Zealand, Evie Corrigan, and so people just don't know. But the more I actually listen to sort of like your podcast or sports podcasts, the more I realize there are a lot of Kiwi world championships, like in snowboarding and in cycling, not Olympic cycling, BMX. There's just so many that I'd never heard of, and so it kind of makes me feel like, oh, okay. They're famous overseas.
Famous in their own sort of like ecosystems.
Yes.
And that's one thing I love about this platform and doing this podcast. Like I've got episodes coming up with Courtney Duncan, who's like from the South Island, and she's like one of the world's top motocross champs.
Yes.
She reached out to me about coming on the podcast, and you do the research and it's like, she's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And, you know, most people would not have heard of her. Same as Nico Porteous, got an episode with him coming up, and he's won like a couple of, winter gold Olympic medals, and most people probably aren't familiar with the name, and it's it's nice to have this platform where you can give these people a bit of attention.
Oh, well, we appreciate it so much that you do, because I see you as mainstream, and the reach that you have with the guests that you've already have, and then to get people like me and like those 2 that you just mentioned on, can only be good for our sports, to help them grow. I mean, New Zealanders are so talented, you know, whether you're like Kiwi-born, Pacific Island Māori, I think we punch above our weights in many rooms that we enter.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's that's the thing. It just highlights just how many New Zealanders there are out there doing epic stuff.
Yes.
And it's really cool. Although you're only here today because your mum made me do it.
Hey!
No, I'm kidding. What is this is a more broader answer to do with like every aspect of your life, but what does success look like to you now? Not to others, but to you.
Yeah. Oh, I guess success in a broader sense to me is being able to get yourself into a position where you can truly do things that you love and enjoy, not because you have to, but because maybe the work that you've put in and the luck that you've had before has gotten you to a space where you can take 6 months of less work and pursue a side passion and make that an athlete career for a little bit. I'm so aware that just so many people cannot do that, and I think that has brought me so much joy and filled my cup so much that I've been able to do that. I think that's the successful part of my story, is getting to a place where I can do things that I really want to do and I enjoy.
I love that. And you got such a supportive partner and supportive parents, as
Very
we've mentioned
supportive.
more than once. What about your mental health? How's your mental health been? I know you've dealt with some burnout over the years.
Yeah.
Mostly good?
Mostly good, yeah. I think it's very human to go through phases of periods where anxiety levels are higher or sleep is not good because something in your life is not going well. And I think that's very human to experience those things. I've been really fortunate to not experience prolonged levels of anxiety or low mood. But I think, thanks mum and dad, like the stuff that they taught me as a kid unknowingly is what kept me from not experiencing those things for too long and being able to use some coping mechanisms to come out the other side. But I'm so aware of it because I see it in my work and I see it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you still struggle with today that people probably assume you've overcome?
I think something like nothing is perfect. My life is not perfect.
No.
It's been really good. But the line of work that we're in, there's a lot of giving and a lot of empathy and a lot of compassion and understanding and even just wanting to know about your patients. And sometimes that can really empty the tank for the rest of the other parts of your life. And so I know that there are other parts, and when I'm not at work, it's not as easy actually for me to be really empathetic or maybe ask how someone is feeling, because it almost switched off when I left work because I needed to leave all of that weight at work. And so it's not as easy to step back into any type of role like that in my usual life. So I think that's when I said that my teammates might think I'm a hard ass, that's where it is coming from. And my family too. I think my family too would probably understand that. So that's an area I need to work on is how can I bring that empathy and compassion and communication into my life.
It's hard, because I genuinely believe we save our worst behaviour for the people that we love the most because, they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
But, your boyfriend, he must be like third cab off the rank. There's the energy that you're expending with your job and with your workouts. And then when you get home, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm just out of words.
Yeah. And you have to be so aware of it and so effortful in just starting the conversation, because once you start it, then it flows. But it's an effort. It's not a good effort, a good investment, but it just doesn't flow as easy as it does at work for some reason.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I suppose at work you just switched on. It's what you have to do.
Yeah.
What are your best and worst habits?
I think best habit.
I can think of many possibilities like drive, discipline, commitment.
Oh, right.
I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I mean, I think maybe the best habit is of consistency. When I pick something up, being consistent and carrying it through and not just dropping it off because you didn't get the result straight away. I think anything that you do to get an outcome, you need to be consistent with things, and that's huge in powerlifting is consistency. When you don't feel motivated, consistency will get you through training. Sometimes there is no drive, but if you're consistent, you're going to training anyway. So I think that's my biggest, probably one of my biggest best habits. Yeah.
Consistency and hard work, they're so underrated as far as superpowers go.
Yes, yeah.
They really are. What about worst habit?
Worst habit. What's my worst habit?
What would your mum say? Nothing. There's nothing.
Nothing? Absolutely. She's perfect. No. Maybe that I am a bit tough. I think so. Maybe I'm a little bit tough.
Are you? You're a hard ass.
Yes, I can be. I can be. Yeah.
In all aspects of your life?
In varying ways, yeah. So it can help at work to be a bit tough on people. But like you said, you save your worst habits for the people closest to you. And I can be tough on the people closest to me. And sometimes they just might want support. And they didn't want a solution, or they didn't want an opinion.
Are you a fixer? Are you a fixer? Someone comes to you with a problem and they may just want like an ear to listen to.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes, yeah.
I feel like I do. I feel like that's mainly a guy thing. Guys want to be like a fixer, eh? Like it seems sometimes your partner or whoever it happens to be just wants you to be there to listen.
Yeah. So I've caught myself recently I want to say something and then I'm thinking, no, they don't want to fix this. They just want to be heard. So zip it.
And if you were to think of 3 words that family or friends would use to describe you, what do you think they would be?
think it would be determined, loyal, I would hope, and what would a third one be? Maybe. Oh, I'm blanking. I'm like, oh my gosh, what would they say?
One word left.
Yeah.
Determined, loyal. They're both great words.
Yeah.
You happy with them?
I am happy with them because that's what I want to be. And I want, I guess, to like exude to people around me. Loyal and I think what I'm trying to think of something that helps them. What about me helps them? But just so I can sound like a nice person.
Well, you are a nice person. You are a nice person. You got goals. You got the shit that you want to get done.
Yeah. I mean, high achieving always comes to my mind because that's been the chapter of my life for like the last maybe 20 years.
Yeah, but I suppose you're still in that period where it's the selfish, I don't know if selfish is the word, but the selfish era of your life, where you've got goals that you want to achieve for you. But yeah, I mean, maybe at some stage you'll want to be a mum and that'll change, or your parents are going to get older and you're going to have a carer role there. So now's the time for you to shine.
Yeah, I think that's you've hit the nail on the head with why I was finding it so hard to find a word, because it does feel like that's the stage of my life, is that I'm hustling and trying to do these things for me and not finding a lot of time for anything outside of that. But yes, I know that there are phases and stages of life, and this is just one phase. And
yeah, that time will come. This window will close.
Yeah.
You have limited years as an athlete, don't you? How close are you to being the best version of yourself?
I think, I don't know if we'd ever get to 100%, but I would like to think that I am close-ish, maybe 75%, because there's always work-ons, and I think the best version of you changes with the stages of your life. Like, for me, the best version of me is like going out and thriving in the world and trying to set myself up for a future so that I can thrive in that future. Yeah.
I love that answer so much. Yeah. I think you're probably, if you're always at 75 or 80%, wherever you are in your life, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I'm 52 now. When I was in my 20s, I would have seen someone that was 52 and I would have thought, they've learned everything there is. They're capped out. That's it. They've learned everything they're going to learn. There's nothing more to do.
This is the best that you've got.
And then you get here and your mum's sitting out there. She's probably exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably still things she's working on. And I think that's a great way to live your life.
Absolutely. Like I'm watching my parents go through different phases of life and have new goals and different goals and working towards them. So no, it's not the end. And what I'm trying to do is like set myself up so that, I can also do that, is have new goals and try different things. And I don't think I'll ever be sort of 100% in GP, but I'll never leave because I love it. But I want to have other things going on and enjoy other things.
How old are your parents now?
55 and 54, I hope that's right.
And they're both in good shape?
Yeah. We Mum works out a lot every day. She's in good shape. And then Dad has started, which is great. So he sends me updates every day.
That's so cute.
I love that. Yeah.
They're probably scared of you. Your dad's probably scared. Are you going to be there's 5 kids, but what's your role going to be when they get older? Are you going to be?
Oh yes.
Are you going to be the bossy one, or?
Yeah, I'm the. There are other bossy ones, honestly. My sisters are bossy. I'm going to be the steadfast one, the one that can make hard decisions and keep everyone on track. Yeah.
I reckon they're going to be scared of you when you get older.
I think they're a little bit scared of me now.
And last one, are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I am. I'm really proud of myself and proud of everything and everyone around me who helped me get to this point and helped me do all these amazing things that I've been able to experience. I'm so lucky. I live like a really cool life. I feel really grateful to even be here. This is so cool chatting with you.
Oh, it's been great today. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable for you.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
I was really, really, really nervous, but it was really nice to just chat. It felt really natural.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. No, you've done some shit. Yeah. And
And there's more to do.
100%. I was going to say that, and you're just getting started.
Yeah. Thank you so
Well,
much.
this has been great. Hey, good luck for the competition that's coming
Thank
up,
you.
and good luck for whatever the future may bring. Dr. Karlina Tongotea.